the groove in the wood. That time couldn't erase. Every Saturday morning at exactly 8 o'clock, my dad would drag me out to his dusty old garage. He'd hand me a piece of rough sandpaper, point to an ancient weathered oak workbench, and say, "Sand it down, kid." I hated it. Hated it. It didn't matter if my friends were riding bikes or if it was freezing cold outside. 8 a.m., no exceptions. I'd rub that sandpaper against the wood, back and forth, over and over, until my hands were raw and my shoulders ached. The workbench looked exactly the same every week, just old scarred wood. When I turned 15, I finally snapped. I threw the sandpaper down and yelled, "Dad, this is pointless. The wood is already smooth. Why make me do this every single week?" My dad didn't get mad. He just looked at me with this heavy, quiet expression and said, "Because, son, you aren't just smoothing the wood. You're teaching your hands how to stay steady when the rest of the world starts to shake." He made me keep doing it. 5 years later, my dad was diagnosed with severe Parkinson's. It was brutal. Within months, his hands shook so badly he couldn't even hold a coffee mug without spilling it. He stopped coming out to the garage. He stopped looking at his tools. The man who could fix anything could suddenly do nothing. It broke him. One Saturday morning, I walked into the dark garage. The old workbench was covered in dust. I picked up a piece of sandpaper, sat down, and started moving my hand back and forth. The garage door creaked open. It was my dad. His hands were trembling violently at his sides, his eyes completely hollow. He shuffled over, looking lost, until his gaze fell on the workbench. Slowly, painfully, he reached out. The moment his palm touched that familiar oak groove, the shaking stopped. His mind was fading, but his muscles, his bones, they remembered the rhythm. For 10 full minutes, my dad stood there, his hand perfectly steady against the wood, locked into the habit we had built together. My dad wasn't punishing me all those years. He knew his body would fail him one day. So he built a sanctuary in the wood, a muscle memory so deep that even a terrible disease couldn't steal it away. Now,